What's going on, guys? Today I want to talk to you about things other than price, which would cause supply to increase or decrease, which are called, fittingly, non-price determinants of supply. I'm Mr. Racine, and let's get to it.
Economics videos that don't suck.
Legal disclaimer. As a quick review of supply, let's use a favorite character of mine, Willy Wonka from Roald Dahl's Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. Ugh, what is that? No, not that guy. Get that guy out of here! Yeah, there, that's much better. Okay, yeah. Willy Wonka owns a chocolate factory, and the number of chocolate bars he's willing to produce and sell depends upon the price that he can sell them for in the market, which in this model, we assume is independent of Willy Wonka himself. If that sounds weird to you, it is. Go take a minute and check out our video on the introduction to supply and look at some of the assumptions we make to get this model to work a little bit better. And also be sure to subscribe to our channel, Economics Videos That Don't Suck, now so that you don't miss future videos. So we can represent Willy Wonka's supply of chocolate, which is the relationship between the price of chocolate that he can sell for and the quantity he would be willing to make and sell in both a table and a diagram. If chocolate bars are priced at $1, Willy's gonna make and sell 200 chocolate bars in a day. If the price goes up to $2, they're now more profitable for the chocolatier, and he'll increase the quantity he's willing to produce to, say, 400 chocolate bars. At a price of $3, he'll supply 600 bars of chocolate, he'll make 800 at $4, and if he can get $5 per bar, he'll churn out 1,000 bars of chocolate per day. We connect the dots, and we have the upward sloping supply curve, which reflects the law of supply. As the price that Willy Wonka can sell his chocolate increases, the quantity that he's willing to make and sell increases as well. If price decreases, quantity supplied decreases. What if there's some change that affects Willy Wonka's willingness, that affects Willy Wonka's willingness to make and sell chocolate other than price? We call these non-price determinants of supply. The main factors that can cause the supply of a good to increase or decrease other than price include 1. Changes to the cost of inputs or factors of production. 2. Changes to taxes and subsidies. 3. Technological change. 4. Producer expectation of future prices. 5. Changes to the price of related goods in production. And 6. Changes to the number of firms in the market. Okay, let's take a look at these. Let's say that the cost of hiring Oompa Loompas decreases. Everyone knows that Oompa Loompas work for cocoa beans. Before, their daily wage was 10 cocoa beans a day. Now, because they're worried about pre-diabetes, like 70% of America apparently, they're cutting down on their chocolate consumption and are therefore accepting wages of only 6 cocoa beans per day. This means that it's now cheaper for Willy Wonka to produce chocolate. Do you think that he becomes more or less willing to produce chocolate now that it's cheaper for him to make it? Sure, he's going to be willing to produce even more, therefore increasing the supply of chocolate. When supply increases, we represent this by a shift to the right. This suggests then that the quantity of chocolate that Willy Wonka is willing to produce and sell increases at every price. Before, he would make 200 bars of chocolate a day if he could get $1 per bar. Now, because workers are cheaper, he'll make 400 bars of chocolate at that same price of $1. And quantity supplied likewise increases at every price. If, on the other hand, the rental cost of a very important piece of chocolate-making machinery, the whippersnapper hydrofoil, increased, this would also represent an increase in the cost of production. When the cost of production increases, firms become less willing to produce and supply decreases. We represent a decrease in supply as a shift left in the supply curve, which suggests that the quantity supplied has decreased at every price. Before, Willy Wonka would make 200 bars at a price of $1. Now that it's more expensive to produce, he's willing to make less chocolate, so he'll produce less if he can only get $1. And the same is true for every price. Any increase in supply will shift the supply curve to the right, and any decrease in supply will shift the supply curve to the left. The next non-price determinant of supply are taxes and subsidies. If the government imposes taxes on Willy Wonka, say charging him 25 cents for every bar of chocolate sold as a means to reduce national obesity rates, this would reduce his willingness to produce and sell chocolate, thereby decreasing supply and shifting it to the left. Tax cuts, on the other hand, will shift supply to the right. Subsidies are the opposite of taxes. Instead of taking money from businesses, government can give money to businesses to encourage the production of desirable goods. If the government determined that chocolate was actually good for mental health and wanted people to consume more of it, don't we all wish, they could subsidize chocolate and give firms, say, 50 cents for every bar of chocolate that they sold. This would increase businesses' willingness to produce chocolate, increasing supply. Conversely, cutting subsidies to business will decrease supply. Technological change is the next factor which can affect supply and can come in many forms. Productive processes, improvement to physical capital, but the overall effect is to increase productivity and reduce costs, therefore increasing the supply of goods when there is positive technological change. Expectations of future prices. If Willy Wonka thinks that the price that he can sell his chocolate for is going to fall in the future, he'd rather sell at the higher price today. So he wants to sell more today before prices fall and supply increases. Conversely, if producers think that prices are going to rise in the future, they would rather hang on to their inventory today and wait to sell when prices are higher in the future, so we expect supply to fall today. The next is changes to the price of related goods. There are also related goods in supply, which include competitive supply goods and joint supply goods. Competitive supply goods are goods that use primarily the same inputs in their production process, like corn and wheat, both of which require land, farming equipment, farming expertise, irrigation, etc. In Willy Wonka's case, he could use his factory and workers to make chocolate, but he could also use them to make caramel, as both chocolate and caramel require sugar, confectionery machines, and Oompa Loompas. If the price of caramel goes up, Willy Wonka should be more willing to supply caramel because he can get a higher price for it. That's the law of supply. So as a result, the supply of chocolate decreases. For competitive supply goods, if the price of good X goes up, the supply of good Y goes down. Conversely, if caramel became cheaper, Willy Wonka should become less willing to produce caramel, so he should make more chocolate, therefore increasing the supply of chocolate. For competitive supply goods, if the price of good X goes down, the supply of good Y goes up. Joint supply goods, I knew a guy in college who had that job, are goods that are produced in conjunction. One is very often the byproduct of the other. For example, beef and leather, both of which come from cows. When you kill a cow, you skin it, you take the meat for the beef, and automatically there's a bunch of cow skin lying around, which is what is used to make leather. So if the price of beef goes up, the quantity supplied of beef should go up, law of supply. And when farmers start raising and killing more cows for beef, the supply of leather should also go up as a result. For joint supply goods, still funny, if the price of good A goes up, the supply of good B goes up. If the price of good A goes down, they make less beef, the supply of good B also goes down. There's also less leather as a result. Finally, the number of firms in the market affect the total supply. Assume that Willy Wonka is the only chocolate manufacturer in town. He's quite profitable, and this attracts other manufacturers, including Slugworth, the Mars Company, and... okay, fine, Tim Burton's pirate Michael Jackson Willy Wonka also. What happens to the supply of chocolate in the city when there are more manufacturers? Right? It increases, much to the delight of young Charlie Bucket. When the number of firms in the market increase, supply increases. When the number of firms in the market decreases, supply falls. Okay, so this has been non-price determinants of supply. An increase in supply is represented by a shift to the right of the supply curve, which suggests that quantity supplied has increased at every possible price. A decrease in supply is represented by a leftward shift of the supply curve, suggesting that quantity supplied decreases at every price. Changes to the cost of inputs or factors of production. If it becomes more expensive to produce, supply decreases. If it becomes cheaper to produce, supply increases. Changes to taxes or subsidies. Increases in taxes or decreases in subsidies cause supply to decrease. Decreases to taxes or increases to subsidies cause supply to increase. 3. Technology. Technological change, generally speaking, increases productivity, drives down costs, and increases the supply of goods. 4. Producer expectation of future price. If producers expect prices to fall in the future, they'd rather sell more today and supply increases. If producers expect prices to rise in the future, they'd rather wait to sell tomorrow when it's more expensive, so supply today decreases. Changes to the price of related goods in production. For competitive supply goods, if the price of good X goes up, the supply of good Y goes down. If the price of good X goes down, the supply of good Y goes up. Joint supply goods are goods that are produced often in conjunction. For joint supply goods, if the price of good A goes up, the supply of good B goes up. If the price of good A goes down, the supply of good B goes down. And finally, changes to the number of firms in the market. More firms in the market means an increase in supply. A decrease in the number of firms in the market decreases market supply. Next video, we'll be putting supply and demand on the same diagram and using them in conjunction to see how the market determines how much stuff actually gets made and what price it gets sold for. It's all happening. It's all happening. See you there. Hey, what's going on? I hope you liked this video and it helped clarify some of the stuff you're working on in your current economics studies. If you're looking for more resources to help you with AP Economics, IB Economics, Intro-Level University Economics, economics teaching resources, 1. Go check out our website, Economics Videos That Don't Suck, evtds.com, for access to our entire catalog of economics videos, as well as practice questions, answers, and even entire mock exams. 2. Be sure to subscribe to this channel, Economics Videos That Don't Suck, so you can get immediate access to all of our new videos as they're released, probably mirroring your economic studies right now.